Hey there, scrappy friends. Suzanne here in the studio today with lots of pretty paper. Yes, today we are going to start another quick short series called Stash Bashing Through Challenges. This is going to be a quick series on ways to tackle your stash. We don't want to let all those papers and pretties just be slouching around in the studio, hanging out on the shelves and in the drawers and in the bins and the baskets and everything else. We want to use them to get projects done. So during January, we're going to slim down our stash a little bit, and not by purging, but by using. Okay, this first video is going to be about the 100 patterned paper challenge. This is a challenge that I've been doing for a couple of years now, and the premise is very simple. You pull 100 pieces of paper from your stash and you commit to using them. There's no real timeline. It can take you a month, a quarter, a year, however long it is, but there's something to be said for the feeling that we're going to get when we've used up 100 pieces of paper. Okay, in addition to flipping through this is 100 pieces. I've got a couple of dividers in here. It's just a little bit over an inch of paper. And while that doesn't sound like very much, we know that on a shelf stacked tight with paper, an inch is a lot, 100 sheets. So let me show you this paper and give you 6 quick tips for why I think this is an effective challenge. Okay? First, a little bit about how I pulled this. Normally, I don't have that much loose paper in my stash. I mostly have collections and a few kits. So first I went around and I looked for single sheets, and I found 18 single sheets that I wanted to use here. And I'm just going to flip through these quickly so you can get an idea. These first 3 are from Heidi Swapp's September Skies. And this is a collection that I had quite a bit more of at one time in the past. But when I'm done with the collection, I'm down to just a few sheets. I put that in a special bin that is called my last of line. So I might still have a couple embellishments that went with it or something, but I don't have enough paper to do a big project, so I set it aside for small projects in my last of line. Okay, the first of my 6 tips is this helps us narrow our focus. Sure, we have a whole room full of paper, or maybe just a whole wall, or maybe just a whole cabinet, whatever we have, but it's more than we can concentrate all at one time. So we're going to narrow our focus. And by doing that, we overcome the overwhelm. That was a term I heard on Scrap Happy not too long ago. Overcome the overwhelm. Okay, the second tip is that it makes it more accessible. Like I said, I am pulling these papers from various places in my room, and having them all together means that I just go to one place now for a while. And it's not to say that I can only use these papers, but it is a good starting point. And sometimes when we're having a hard time getting going creatively, all we need is a starting point. So 100 pieces of paper, which is really, if they're double-sided, 200 designs, that's enough variety, but still it's easy to get to and it gives us a starting point. And then of course, as I was pulling these and as I'm showing them to you now, I get to our third point, which is the third benefit is that you get a renewed awareness of exactly what is in your stash. You're going to come across some things you have forgotten you had. You know what they say, out of sight, out of mind. Well, let's pull some of it out, and then we will be more aware of what it is we have. Okay, as you can see as I'm going through these, that was 18 pieces where I just had one piece of each. No doubles in that. So that was 18 singles as I call it. And that was my first group of papers. Okay. My second group of papers are florals. These are all doubles. So these are all papers that I had too. So I can put the front and the back together. Show those to you. So tip 4 is that a variety of stash, because you can pull across multiple categories, which I did, but even on the floral category, watch as we go along, and the back of a floral paper is rarely a floral. So I'm, even by just doing floral papers, look at all the variety I have built into my stash. This one's pretty. Some of these florals are kind of my recent purchases. This is a 2021. And one of the ways I was buying just singles, I don't normally buy a piece of paper out of a collection. I prefer buying collections total. But these, I didn't want to buy any more collections, but I still was kind of having fear of missing out on some of the newer things. So if I just pick a sheet or two from a line, and that satisfies me, that's certainly a more budget conscious way to add fresh stuff to my stash, isn't it? Is that spoken like a true accountant? And sometimes, you know, paper's just too cute to pass up. I love this Bella Boulevard. How fun is that? And that. And this. And I do love a good floral. I really do. Because I know florals are just sort of my go-to for making cards also. Okay, so there were 24 florals. So really just 12 designs, but 2 of each. Oh, no, one more here. Whoops. This one is subtle. Okay. Next, I went to the wood grains. These are all doubles. Ah, what do you know, floral. But I added it for the wood grain, not for the floral. Here's another one that kind of looks like a gate or a barrel even. Some brick. Another one. This one was I'm sure this was cheap paper because I would have never gotten the Jungle Safari, so I was just looking for sale paper that had wood grains. This is a good basket weave. I love a good basket. You know that. This one I know I've shown you. Okay, I think we were on tip number 5, and that is pulling just paper, especially paper for which you don't really have matching embellishments, will help you to use up all your staples. It will send me to my drawers of wood veneer and buttons and ribbon and flare. All of those older supplies that we bought before they came out with collections, and every collection had its own embellishment. If you have a good stock of those in your stash, then this challenge will help you use those up. Okay, that was the wood grain. That leads me to my biggest section. And this is going to be 44 sheets of miscellaneous. Again, these are doubles. Isn't that one fun with the film strips on the back? Very pretty. Don't you just love looking at pretty paper? Hopefully you're watching this video for just a break, or maybe even for a little inspiration. I can find looking through paper very inspiring and very fun. And that brings me to my 6th tip. This is just another way to enjoy your stash, another fun challenge that doesn't detract from your main goal of using your stash. It just gives you another way to approach it that can be a lot of fun. And isn't our hobby supposed to be about the fun? I think so. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by how much sort of unrelated paper you have, why don't you go see if you can pull 100 sheets. I love this paper. What is this? Is 5th and Monaco. It's really pretty. I like myself a good Cartabella woodland scene. I just got these papers. These are very playful. Those will be fun. This one's a little less playful on this side, and that's a busy piece of paper. I can see why that might have been on sale if that's the front side. But again, the back side is what attracted me. Here's some Christmas paper that I love, a good plaid. So it was really the plaid that made me pull this out of my stash. Here's another very usable pattern. On the back of that, we just have a solid. Echo Parks. I love these bright colors. You can probably see that most of the color palette that I really like are the bright colors, the happy colors. Here's one that could have been wood grain, except it's got all of these little plants in front of it. There's another one. That last one, and then these are both from the Howdy series by Simple Stories, and I did not buy them as a collection. I just happened to notice that wood grain, and then it showed me, when it shows you the other papers in the collection, they also had this one still available, the matte paper, so I grabbed it. It's kind of interesting to understand how it is that what our habits are as far as buying, isn't it? On sale is my favorite way to buy. How about you? It's real fun. Okay, I think that just about wraps this up. Looky there, we'll end on a calendar. So, if you want to start your year off right, why don't you consider joining in the 100 Patterned Paper Challenge. Actually, it's easier to participate in than it is to pronounce it. I had fun pulling the papers. I'm looking forward to putting them on my desk in one of these Cropper Hopper holders and working with them over the next days and weeks and months. All right, so that wraps up. Remember my 6 quick tips: narrow your focus, make it accessible, get a renewed awareness, appreciate the variety of your stash, use up your staples, and have fun. Okay, I appreciate your time and attention as always. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate that. And if you'd like this video, I'd appreciate that as well. See you back in the studio soon. Bye for a bit.